Howdy friends, today we have a cast of Falcons. That's what you call a group of Falcons. I literally just Googled it specifically for this video. But the Arterra Falcon has recently been updated for 2026, and I reviewed the original 2025 version almost a whole year ago. So in today's video, we're gonna go over the differences between the 2025 to the 2026 versions. There are more quality of life improvements, and of course, we'll go through all those details. But they also introduced a Pro model of the Arterra Falcon. So of course, I'll let you know what the difference between the regular version and the Pro version is, and if it's worth your money in upgrading to the Pro. And since I've been using this one for almost 8 months at this point, and I've had these two over the last 2 months, I'm gonna give you my updated thoughts and opinions on what I like and dislike about these slings in general, now that I've had almost a whole year experience in using this form function of the Arterra Falcon. But if all that sounds good to you, let's start unpacking all of the details of the new Arterra Falcon and Falcon Pro. Now, before we deep dive the differences between the 2025 version, the 26 version, and the Pro model, let me give you some updated thoughts and opinions on this form factor in general, since I've been using it for about almost a year now. Now, keep in mind, I've traveled with these, I've worn them as a hip pack, I've worn them as a crossbody sling, I've taken them to music festivals, but most importantly, I mostly use these with walking my dogs or hiking with my dogs. Any dog-related activity, the Arterra Falcon is on my hip. So much so that when they see me grab the Falcon, they just completely lose their mind because they know it's time for a walk, a hike, or headed to the dog park. Now, much like in my original review, I still love the bag overall. I still believe the Falcon wing is a unique feature, a feature that I use to put their bones, their ball, or whatever we're taking to the park to play with. But it also comes in clutch in the wintertime when you want to put your beanie or gloves or different layers. It has a lot of utilitarian function of the Falcon wing. It can become restrictive to some of the compartments of this sling, and I think some of the quality of life changes made on the 2026 versions help that a little bit more. But overall, I still believe the Falcon wing should have been removable or detachable in some sort. That way, when you don't need it, you don't have to carry it. But I found some workarounds either way, and again, with the quality of life improvements, the overall accessibility has gotten a lot better. I still believe that at 2 liters, it is a bit snug for a 2-liter sling, and then of course the Falcon wing doesn't help that tightness of the overall pack. But for carrying your everyday essentials, phone, wallet, keys, and then with the D-ring here to carry your dog bowl, dog snacks, poopy bags for your dogs, whatever it is, it still functions very well on carrying your essentials and a little bit extra for if you're walking a pet in my instance. All these months later, I still believe the Falcon functions better as a hip pack than it does a crossbody sling. Another use I found for it is when rucking. When I have 30 pounds strapped in my rucker on my back, I don't want to take my pack off to get to my cell phone, a snack, my AirPods. So this is where the hip pack really excels, to keep all that smaller things right at your hip instead of having to access them in your rucker. Now, that's one reason I believe the Boogie bag from GoodWorks is a popular option for ruckers, and I think this one does a great job as well. So just like in my original review, I think that if you're somebody who wants lightning quick access to a crossbody style of slings, there's going to be better options for you on the market. Where this really excels is as a hip pack in outdoor activities. If you're hiking, walking, or dog walking in variable weather, the Falcon wing can be a great feature for you to put layers or water bottles, snacks, dog toys, all sorts of things. The D-ring there to clip additional gear, and just having all accessibility at your waist pack. To me, it functions a little bit better as an outdoor pack and as a hip pack. And if you're somebody who already owns the original Falcon and you're wondering, is it worth upgrading to the 2026 version? I think the quality of life improvements from this version to here are worth the upgrade. Now, if you're thinking about upgrading from that version to the Pro, well, once we get into the deep dive, that's really gonna come down to what you value in a sling. But for sure, I think that going from the 25 to the 2026 version is worth the quality of life improvements. So I flipped these Falcons inside out to get a better look at the inside main compartment. I have the 25 version, 2026, and then the Pro version right here. So on the inside back panel of the main compartment on the 2025 version, we had nothing on the back panel besides this key ring here with this clip. That's it, that's all we had. So now you can see the change from the 25 to the 26 is going to be a zippered compartment along the back now. We also have a difference in the tag, not really functional difference there, but it is there. but that additional pocket now on the back side adds some more organization into the back panel of the main compartment. And then when you get to the Pro, we do have a colored zipper here in orange for the inside. So again, same pocket, we just have a colored zipper here to accent the inside of the main compartment. Now the materials on the inside are both the same here on the 25 and 26, and we still have a 210D ripstop nylon on the 2026 Pro version, but it is more ripstoppy. You can see the square patterns, and it just looks and feels a little bit nicer than the stock material being used on the 2026 version and the older version. So now flipping it over to the opposite side of the main compartment, you can see the change right away between the 25 and 26 is that this small zipper compartment is now gone. It felt kind of tight in the original version, so I'm glad to see this one go away and now move to this larger zipper compartment. And now we have two stretch pockets on the inside, and of course with the Pro you get that nicer color matched to the orange accents, which I do visually and aesthetically like a little bit more. But of course, nothing wrong here with the gray interior. Still same quality mesh, just different colors. I do find the organization choice of putting two stretch pockets there, 50-50 split, and the larger zipper pocket on the back considerably better than what was on the original version of just the one zipper pocket. Now that I've got these Falcons flipped the correct way, on the original version here, I didn't mind these three small stretch pockets. They were kind of, you know, prescriptive with only fitting certain things like my AirPods, chapstick, gum, really small items only. So the decision to go to a one giant open pocket is a lot better for fitting all kinds and all sorts of different kinds of gear. Yes, you lose a little bit of the organization of dividing these pockets, but I found this choice to be a lot more useful when I'm packing snacks, Cliff Bars, or doggy treats. Anything to this, I can just shove more gear into here, and it felt a little bit better than these three really prescriptive small stretch pockets. So again, that is one quality of life change that I actually really did enjoy. And now we have a proper key leash instead of just that internal clip on the inside. So again, a nice place to clip your keys, keep that on the outside, and you can put all sorts of different gear on this stretch pocket. And then going over to the Pro, if it haven't caught on yet, the only difference there is the nice premium colored version instead of this neutral like warm gray. Now when we get to the exterior of these bags, in 2026 they're still using an 840D micro ballistic nylon, and this one has held up incredibly well over the last almost year. I do have some dirt and some other things on the strap, but overall, you know, some pilling there of the back materials. Overall, the material is really robust. I love the fact that my two labs shed and nothing sticks to these slings. They're easily wiped off, easily cleaned. So I am a huge fan of the 840D micro ballistic nylon, so no change there. This is where the Pro comes into action. The Pro material upgrades it to a 200 EPX Eco Pack. So it's a fully recyclable material, so it's more sustainable. The material itself is waterproof. And on this version, you're getting AquaGuard or PU coated zippers. So that's something to consider over the regular versions, where you are going to get a fair amount of weather resistance because these do have a PU coating on the backing of the material. This material itself is fully waterproof. Now the bag is not fully waterproof because it still is stitched together in a traditional sense, but you couple the waterproof material with the PU coated zippers. If you really want to do some outdoor hiking or outdoor activity in wet weather, this is definitely going to provide you more water resistance than the standard micro ballistic version. So the weather resistance is really something to consider. If that's extremely important to you, the Pro version is going to be a better option for you, hands down. Now, one of the best quality of life improvements they made to this bag was adding the addition of dual zipper heads on the front compartment. The original version only had one, meaning it had to be parked on this side and the Falcon wing would obstruct, you know, using that zipper. So the decision to put two here allows you to park the two zipper heads up top. So even when your Falcon wing is clipped in, you can still open the top and get into the front compartment without having to undo the Falcon wing. So huge improvement in user experience just by adding another zipper head into the zipper track. Another change that I picked on right away was the difference in the buckle of the strap. Now, you had a high quality Wuben buckle here on the original. Nothing wrong with this design, but you see how it's flat and squared. I found that sometime trying to connect this around my hip, I got to a point where it felt like it didn't want to go any further, and I had to use excessive force, I would say, for a buckle to really get this snapped in. And I do believe it is from that squared off design. Now, in the 2026 version and in the Pro models, they have swapped over to a Duraflex style of buckle. And you can see how this one here is angled, and I found that connecting this one on and off was a lot simpler, required a lot less force than the Wuben of the original. So again, a nice quality of life improvement. It overall improved the usability of this sling. Just with those two small changes of adding the extra zipper and swapping over to a Duraflex buckle with a different design affected the usability, and I noticed it right away. I didn't have to deep dive the specs on the website or do a side-by-side comparison. It's just something I noticed when using the bag. Again, small quality of life improvements, but they definitely are an improvement over the regular version. So again, if you're somebody who has the original and you want to know if it's worth upgrading, for me, especially how much I use the sling, it's definitely worth upgrading with the new internal pocketing, and especially with the addition of the extra zipper and the new buckle. So besides the PU coated zippers and the material, there's two features that are exclusive to the Pro model and not found on the regular version. The first one is going to be the Magic Center push buckle from Wuben. These are so simple to use. The user experience is very nice. The tactile, almost fidget experience is 100 out of 100. Now, there's nothing wrong with the original buckle. It's also using the Wuben hardware here, but it is a traditional buckle in that style of sense. Functional and it works. But in my opinion, if you're going to use Wuben buckles, Magic Center push button is definitely the way to go. So makers, if you're hearing me in 2026, Magic Center push buckles from Wuben, I will pay the extra $1.50, whatever the hardware costs, to have these over different styles of Wuben hardware. I know everybody's using the Wuben sliders on their sternum strap, but man, if everyone could change to these center push buckles, it would make everything so much better. And the last feature exclusive to the Pro model is going to be a back hidden zippered pocket. Again, protected by a PU coated zipper, so it is going to have water resistance. But this additional pocket here is great for your passport, your wallet, any items you want to keep more secure and flush to your body, whether that be against your chest or your hip. Now, both slings are still going to have this nice padded breathable mesh. The patterning is a little bit different. I'm assuming that's due to the addition of the pocket. So even though the stitching is a little bit different, they're still both the same nicely padded breathable mesh. No change there. So I love the addition of the additional pocket added to the back of the Pro model. The only problem with this pocket is that I tend to use this more as a hip pack. 99% of the time I'm using this as a hip pack now. So this pocket is not really accessible when it's attached to my hip. So while I like the option that it's there, but for me functionally, it's not a pocket I really use, but you are gonna have to pay for it if you're upgrading from the regular version. Now, when it comes to pricing of the Arterra Falcons, the regular version is going to run you $59.99, and then it jumps up to a whopping $109.99 for the Pro version. So that is quite the jump from the regular version. So it's really going to come down to how much you value the upgrades. I think if you need weather protection, you want an enhanced user experience because of the center push magnetic buckles on the sides here of the Falcon wing, and then the enhanced aesthetics of the orange colored matched zippers and stretch pockets at the inside. That's where you're gonna have to weigh, is it worth the $50 experience to gain all that plus the additional backside pocket? Now, if you want my honest thoughts and opinions on that price jump, I do think it's a little steep, but you are getting quite a bit different from the regular version. So let's talk about the EcoPack material. I'm a huge fan of the EcoPack material. While you can get the regular Falcon in the kelp green, the Army Olive EcoPack, the EPX 200, man, it is chef's kiss, one of my favorite materials. And that alone would almost drive me to go for the Pro over the regular version. But then you add in the orange stretch pockets, which aesthetically I like a whole lot better. And then the user experience of the center push buckles on the side of the Falcon wing. In my opinion, I think it's worth a $50 upgrade. So if I have these two in my cart and I'm trying to make a decision, for me personally, I think it's worth the upgrade. And just in case you're wondering how strong this D-ring is, I can tell you from experience that two 60-pound labs strapped to this D-ring can pull the weight of an entire grown man when they see a squirrel and want to chase it. So that'll tell you the quality of the sling, and that can tell you what this sling can support. So if you're wondering if you have larger dogs, if this is going to be something useful for you, I think you're going to be fine. If I can get my ass dragged by two 60-pound labs, whatever you're walking will be just fine. Okay, for some final thoughts on the Arterra Falcon and Falcon Pro. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, a lot of my sentiment carried over from the original version, but I do believe all of the quality of life improvements done here were necessary and they're quite noticeable right off the bat. Like I mentioned earlier as well, if you have the original and you're thinking about upgrading to the new version, I think the user experience alone is worth the upgrade. Now, it's between these two is where the head-to-head battle is really going to come out to, whether you value and see value in a $50 jump from the regular version. Like I said, for me, I am a materials nerd. I'm a bag nerd. I love EcoPack material. Army Olive is my favorite color of EcoPack, so that alone, coupled with the orange materials of the inside, it just sparks more bag joy in carrying this one. So that's a value factor that you're going to have to figure out on your own. How much is bag joy rolled into your buying decision? For me, it weighs in quite a bit because I have black bags galore. So when I run across something in a nicer material, a different color, a little bit nicer features for user experience, that $50 upgrade, it seems big compared to the overall price, but in the long run, it just sparks more joy and it's easier to use. So for me, it's an easy decision to go Pro over the regular version. But like always, I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think about the price jump between the Arterra Falcon and the Falcon Pro? Let me know your thoughts. Honestly, what do you think about the Falcon Wing? I think this is a very controversial feature. It could be the reason you want this sling, and it could also be the reason you don't get this sling. Like I mentioned again at the top of the video, I still believe that this should have been removable for days that you don't need it. Like if you're going about town, you don't really need this, but if you're going on a hike, you're going to carry a water bottle, an extra layer, you're walking your dogs, it is a nice feature to have. When it comes to loading the sling out, remember it's only 2 liters, so it is enough space to carry all of your daily essentials plus a few extra items, but that extra Falcon Wing capability of the front can really allow you to carry an entire water bottle, a jacket, some things that you normally wouldn't be able to carry in a 2-liter sling. So keep in mind, I predominantly carry this to walk my dogs or hike with my dogs, so I got a few items that I carry that are specific to that, but just imagine how your gear would fit. So this refined pocket of the front, I much love this bigger open pocket. It's way better to get stuff in and out. Clip your keys there, keep them down at the bottom. Now up here, depending on the day, I would take dog treats or sometimes a snack if I'm going for a hike with them, and I can still fit doggy treats and stuff in there. So you have a lot of capacity in this front pocket. Now I didn't want to go get the dog treats or the other toy that I wanted to demonstrate because the dogs would just go crazy and they would not let me continue my day once they saw me grab that bone that I normally carry here or their bag of treats. Now in the main compartment, again, I do love the pocketing a little bit better here. I still carry all of my daily essentials. There's some things I really don't leave home without, and some people make fun of me, but a flashlight and a pocket knife are things that I normally don't leave. It's not really about protection, it's more about utility as a tool. Opening boxes, opening things that I need on the go, and then of course a flashlight has just been so handy. So with these 50-50 pocket split, a great place to put my flashlight there. I can actually throw my pocket knife because again, it's not something I use a lot. I just like to have it. I can throw it in the back zipper pocket. And up here, if I'm going to be at the dog park for a while letting the dogs run around, I can bring my AirPods so I can listen to a podcast or my audiobook. They fit nice down in there. Now this is actually the place where I kept my cell phone as well. I didn't really use the back pocket because I use this as a hip pack, but this is the largest iPhone 15 Pro Max and it fits down into the main compartment with ease. So I normally carry this large orange bone here, but I don't want to go grab that because the girls will not leave me alone if they see me reach for that. So just to demonstrate, you can fit a tennis ball, you can fit all sorts of things in here, and because of the expansion of the Falcon Wing straps on the side, you can really accommodate this to fit any materials. Just put whatever you want in there, whether it be a jacket, a layer, a bottle, and then just cinch it down. Especially if you're carrying tennis balls to go to the park, you can fit another one here, and they get full of drool and debris and other things. You don't want to throw them into your pack. You can carry them on the outside, and then this material is super easy to clean and get all that dog drool right off of your sling. Now the only other things that I really carry on the outside of the D-ring here is going to be a dog bowl, because I have a dog who refuses to drink out of the dog fountain, and that clips on there. And of course the dog poopy bags when they go to the bathroom. Always keep those on hand, and everything else, like I said, their dog leash, other items you can clip throughout the pack. You can carry all sorts of things. It's just really functional and really versatile, and one of my favorite things about the Arterra Falcon in general and the Falcon Wing. So you can see with that Falcon wing expansion and that D-ring, you can carry a lot more larger gear than you would on many other 2-liter slings on the market. So definitely an advantage. Now, if you have any more questions about the Arterra Falcon or Falcon Pro, definitely put them down in the comments. The goal of this channel is to always help you find the right gear for you. Now, if you liked today's video and you would like to see more, please consider hitting like and subscribe, as that directly supports me and the channel. I want to say thank you to Arterra for sending out the Falcon and the Falcon Pro for me to test and review. And if this isn't the sling for you, I have an entire playlist with all sorts of different slings, or maybe, just maybe, you can find the right one for you. But thank you for supporting today's video, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.